Alerts out of the way. No countdown. Here we are. Jimmy D and the Wolf live.
Yeah.
Podcast.
You guys missed the best part. We thought it was live.
You were having this private conversation, and then for a second I thought, man, are we live?
Right. We've been live for days, man.
It's watched everything we've done. Oh, talking about that, there was news today that TikTok is more of a spy algorithm than a social media platform. And there were commenters on that. And then others were saying it's no different than Facebook or all the other ones. They, like, if you take a screenshot, supposedly it knows that screenshot. Supposedly Facebook and Instagram do the same thing. I don't know. Is there anything private anymore?
No, not if it has, electronics. No, not at all.
And there was another article I read about planned obsolescence of electronic devices. Whereas, think about your phone 10 years ago, or go back how many years? You could probably access the battery. I mean, I remember having a phone and I needed to reset it, and I'd slide the back cover off and take the battery out to reset it. Remember that?
Absolutely.
You have an iPhone 11. I have an iPhone 11. Or maybe yours is a 10. I don't recall. And you can't do that. Because today they glue everything down to the point where if you tried to get that phone, hey, Michael, how's it going? Michael Stucker's on. If you tried to get that battery out of there, you would destroy the phone. And they do that so that it's planned obsolescence. So that you have to buy a new one.
Yeah.
And you can't repair stuff. I mean, the repair shop, when I was a kid, there was a repair shop that would repair everything, vacuum cleaners, radios, stuff could be repaired.
How far do you think they are now? I mean, do you think they've made like the iPhone 15 or,
as far as what they're developing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's advanced research that have ideas of what they want to do at 15. Sure. They've got it planned out, what their release schedule is. In my idea, they do. I don't know, but you just don't suddenly, okay, 6 months, we're dropping a new version, so I'm sure they've got it planned out for years and years. But things move fast. Developments move fast. I don't know.
When they time it just right, it's like the PS5 thing that just happened right around Christmas. They were going for $1,000 because everybody bought them up and they were price gouging. And I was proud of my boys because they were like, don't buy one of those. That's stupid. They got it. You know what I mean? They're like, it's going to go down. They'll be the regular price in March or April. Just wait. Don't buy one.
Wow. The maturity of your sons.
I was proud of them.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, both of them made that comment. They're like, don't spend that kind of money on that.
That's awesome. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I was too.
High five and fist bump to you, Marshall, and members.
Yeah. But now I still got to get one. You know what I mean? Eventually, but I was proud of them. I think the bigger issue, like you said, there's not really privacy anymore with all these devices. The bigger issue is that nobody cares. Nobody's concerned that there's no.
Well, people put everything on the internet. I was scrolling through, the TikTok, and I do post my videos on TikTok, my music videos, and every one of them gets like 150 views within plus or minus 10. It's like that's the governor that they put on my site. You're not going to go beyond that, but we will give you that much just to keep you coming back.
Yeah.
Jeff says, Fed says his aunt is 100 today. Well, congratulations to your aunt. Her 19th president tomorrow. That's amazing stuff. I remember you talking about that. What is your aunt's name, her first name? So What were we just talking about, Jimmy? Lost my train of thought.
TikTok.
Oh yeah, TikTok. So, I mean, there are people who've been. I mean, there are young girls, women are on there and are just basically, showing themselves and revealing clothes and getting views. And I was strolling by and there was a young girl. I don't know how old she was. Probably a teenager, maybe. And she's wearing a bikini, and she's a curvy girl. I mean, she's not. She's just a curvy girl and busty girl, but she's wearing a bikini. And she says, "Those of you asked for this, and I'm going to show you how to do jumping jacks." You know,
Right.
I mean, it's like I'm sitting there going, that's somebody's daughter. I mean, that stuff. Oh, Jeff says he's right with her. Wow, Tris, wonderful. And so that kind of stuff doesn't go away, even though you delete it. I mean, that was a poor decision making. People have lost jobs because of stuff they posted on the internet or not get hired out of college. So people need to have a little bit more of the amygdala is not fully developed till your late 20s, which figures out the results of your long-term results of your actions. Lots of different phones in her lifetime too. Yeah, she probably remembers party lines and calling up the operator and asking for connect me to so and so.
Yeah, it's always, I laugh about it and get tickled often because I always have my phone on me, and with business it's always ringing, and booking jobs and booking shows and stuff like that, and it's always on my hip. And I remember my grandfather would go off when he heard the phone ring. I mean, immediately just, who is it? Like, it would ruin his entire day that somebody called his phone line. And then my grandma would answer the phone and be like, "Oh, it's your brother." "Oh, okay." He couldn't stand it. So how much that's changed is.
I'm back to, I guess, full circle. I don't answer. I see, like, my outgoing message says, because my calls go to voicemail if they're not in my system.
Yeah.
So, then I'll say text me or email me, because most of the calls that I've gotten are spam. Nobody calls anymore. Nobody calls.
Everything's text.
So anyway, a subject that I asked Jim if it'd be okay we talk about is, I got on this talk about phones. It could be a nice segue. Is I got on this app called Noom, Noom. I think this is my third day or second day. Well, I got it on Sunday, second full day, and it is for weight loss and controlling, your diet. And I was skeptical, but what it is I can see how it's going to work. Has a lot of articles about the psychology, and also you log. Well, first of all, it said you have to weigh yourself every day, which I've been, I believe if you measure something, you're going to pay more attention to it. Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're focusing on something, it's going to grow. Hopefully, when you're dieting, you're focusing on your weight. It's not growing; it's going the other way. But so Noom, so far I'm pretty impressed. And now I'm going to be hooked up with a coach, and then they put you in a group. And what they do, you have to log everything you eat. And I think, I've been doing exercise every day, running. My running isn't that fast. So I'm not breaking any speed records, but I do run pretty much every day, 6 days a week. I skip Sunday. But I haven't been, and watching cut out all carbs, all bread and rice, and just not performing. And I realized, and I told you this before, I think, there's all those little cheater things. And now I'm entering, I don't know how long I'll be willing to do this, but I'm entering every single thing I eat. And it gives you how many, and it gives you 3 zones. The green zone, like, bread's okay for them. For them, bread's okay. Each that's different, but they want to talk about caloric density. So if like meat has good protein, but you can eat a lot of it before you get full. So they said water is good. So anything that's got a lot of water in it, they said you could, watermelon is an extreme example they give. You could eat 3 pounds of watermelon and there's almost no calories. If you could eat 3 pounds of watermelon, if you physically could, that'd be the extreme case. And they compared grapes and raisins. Assuming they're the same calories, you're much better off eating grapes because there's a lot of water in there. It'll fill you up. So caloric density. And so they've got the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. And you can eat stuff in the red zone. And red zone would be things like candy, but they want to minimize your intake. And so you write down everything, and it's right on the app, so you can enter it, and you can search for. Like I went to Red Lobster yesterday, and I had the endless shrimp, and I had the skewered shrimp, and it was right in the app with the calories and everything. You just pull it up, and the app's already got that, what the calories are, what the allocation is. And and then water. They want you to drink lots of water. And so you write that, you enter all your glasses of water that you set your own goal. It's a beauty. I could see the psychology in it is beautiful because you literally set all your own goals. They give you suggestions, but you are setting your goals. I could say, okay, what percent do you want to do red zone, yellow zone, green zone? And they said, this is what's suggested, but you select your goals. And then you measure versus that throughout the day. And also, how many glasses of water are you going to have your goal? This is what we suggest, but you select the goal. So the psychology is, I can tell, even though it's really funny and nerdy, I mean, there's a lot of goofy things in there that make you laugh. Like there was talking about different food groups. They're listing different oils. They said coconut oil, olive oil, gorilla oil. They just made that up. That doesn't exist. And then there's some other ones that just goofy stuff that keeps you laughing, keeps you loose about it. And so far, I think it really is going to change my behavior because I said I want to lose 30 pounds, dude, 30 pounds. And the app didn't even blink. It said, okay, based on our calculations, you will meet that by June 27th. They had the exact date.
Nice.
They ask questions about your lifestyle. They ask questions about, your age, your weight, all this stuff. And it says, okay, we project that you will meet this. So I'm like 30 pounds. I've been 30 pounds lighter than I am today. I don't know. Many, many, many years, many decades.
Many decades.
So if they deliver, I mean, I'll be able to fit into stuff that I wore when I was in my 20s, So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'd just be happy if go ahead. I didn't hear you.
Caloric density. That's interesting.
Yeah. The density, because it fills you up and so you don't indulge. And also, Tony Robbins, you're going to be doing the Tony Robbins New World, New You. If there's anybody listening to this and you haven't signed up for the New World, New You, I strongly encourage you to do it. I get nothing out of it. But Tony Robbins, it's free. It's 5 days. The pre-training is going on. Have you been to any of the pre-training, Jimmy? Or you haven't been able to do it?
Nope.
Have you logged into the Facebook group yet?
Not yet.
Well, every day they've been going on there and doing pre-training and stuff. So it's about tools. I mean, it's not about. I didn't understand what Tony Robbins was, and I've said this before. I thought he was that character in Saturday Night Live. Doggone it, people like me, and I'm good enough. Blah blah blah. What was it? Smalley, yeah. That's not Tony Robbins at all. He gives you tools. He gives you techniques. It's like learning to play the guitar. Like one key thing is if we stay in a beautiful state, he defines a beautiful state when you're excited, energy. He's all about energy. Bring energy at top 10 because you perform more. It's like playing a gig. If you go play a gig and you're at a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 on energy, probably not going to be a very good gig, right?
Exactly.
But if you walk in at 10, you're like, hey, everybody get on your feet. Come on, sing along with this song. Get on the dance floor. The bartender, the owner of the club is going to be happy. People are going to be happy. So
Yep.
you bring energy to everything in your life. And he says energy is everything. And if you are not in what he calls a beautiful state, which is like the opposite of beautiful state is when we're sad, depressed, discouraged, angry. He calls that a suffering state. Beautiful state is when you're energized, positive. We can do this.
Yeah.
And we perform much better. I think everyone would agree. We perform better when we're in a beautiful state.
Yeah, you gotta make your own juice a lot of times, man.
Yeah, yeah. Energy. So he talks about techniques on how to do that. If something happens to you, because life happens to us, something happens to you where you're no longer in a beautiful state, how do you recover? Do you stay in that suffering state for days and days? Because being angry is addicting. We talked about that, I think, in a previous video. So it's easy to hang on to that and say, man, it is addicting to hang on to that aggrievement and feel I've been aggrieved and they need to pay, that sort of thing. And so letting that go is the best thing for ourselves individually. Yep. So anyway, Noom has some of that. In fact, this morning they had doing the breathing exercises. There's Tony calls it. I don't know. Tony probably didn't invent it, but we do 4 in, 4 out, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out. What's that called? The square. This is a term for it. The app had me doing that this morning on the new Noom app, or Noom, however it's pronounced. So it's more than just eat this. It's all about the mindset. So I'm excited. I mean, I think I can already see how they use the psychology. Like I said, they have you set the goals. And that's just a little twist, They don't say, here's your goals. Will you set your goals? Because they've already determined that if you set your own goals, you're going to follow them more closely than if somebody gives them to you. So it's not a fly-by-night outfit. I so far, and I'm just getting started. And they said, in the future, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. After you've been on this for a week, we're going to do this. And then, this whole thing lays out. There's stuff. And they said, we want you to be on the app 10 minutes a day. If you're on the app 10 minutes a day, they give you 1 minute quick reads, 3 minute quick reads to encourage you, keep you going. And so we'll see, You can say that again.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm going the other way, man. I'm trying to put on 15 pounds of muscle this year. It's one of my big goals this year.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'll get there. Just takes time.
Just consistency, as you know, doing what we do each day is determines. Oh, I've got something on my wall. See if I can find it. I'm going to read it. This isn't Tony Robbins. I don't know where I got this, but control your attention to shape your thoughts. Control your thoughts to shape your actions. Control your actions to shape your habits. Control your habits to shape your character. Control your character to shape your destiny.
Absolutely.
So what we do, we are what we do every day. The habits, tiny little habits that we do.
The way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Yeah. So
it's all about having an established mind. A lot of people aren't even aware of the connection between what they're thinking and what they're feeling.
Absolutely. Yes.
They just think the thoughts and they think that their feeling is on autopilot. And once you're aware of what you're thinking and you pay attention to it, you can think whatever you want. And kind of once you get a handle on that, you start to feel good all the time, That's when things happen. Like you said, it was a great analogy about the gig. I've had many of those gigs, man, where you think it's going to be a packed house and you show up and there's nobody there. And it's like, you got to make your own juice, and you're the only one that can do it. And life is very much that way too. You got to make your own juice.
Yeah, I like that.
It's not always going to look great, but,
think we should make a Jimmy Dean the Wolf merch item. You got to make your own juice.
Yeah, there you go. And it'll have tons of caloric density.
I'm gonna write that down. That might not be a bad idea.
There you go. You know, a friend of mine told me one time, he was a big, and many years ago when I first thought about trying to lose some weight, his advice was simple. He says, eat celery. He's like, just eat celery as often as you can. He said, it's the only food that you can stay full on all the time and lose weight. And I never could get in the habit of just eating celery without smothering it in peanut butter.
Well, surprisingly, Noom doesn't like peanut butter. And I buy the peanut butter that doesn't have any sugar in it because they put sugar in Skippy or whatever. I get natural, not because I don't want any sugar in it. I just want peanuts. And peanuts and almonds and pistachios, things that I love that I thought were fine because they're fine for a keto kind of diet because there's no carbs really. It's mostly protein and fat. And Noom, I don't like that.
Most of the Noom thing like carb free.
No, bread is. They like bread by the way. They like bread because it has high caloric density or low. It fills you up with the same amount of calories. Low caloric density, I think, is the correct way of saying it. So high caloric density would be where, like meat, you eat a little bit of meat and you've got a lot of calories, but you can eat more because it doesn't fill you up. It doesn't take much.
Have a lot of water in it.
Got to have a lot of water in it. Something that has a lot of water will be desirable from the Noom system. It's about keeping you satiated, So I'm only on day 2, so I'm still in the honeymoon phase. Ask me in a week, ask me in 2 weeks, ask me in a month. Yeah. I mean, I might be tempted to swear in a week or 2. We'll see.
Well, if they have your target weight down to the day, I'd say they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I hope they do. And so we'll see. I mean,
I'd roll with it. Anything that lets you eat bread.
Well, I'm not going to eat the bread. I mean, you can choose your own diets, but I'm going to try to do the thing where, no carbs, no rice, but vegetables, you can have lots of vegetables like tomatoes. There's a lot of water in tomatoes. Any vegetable really is good. So
even potatoes.
Yeah, I had a baked potato. I had a baked sweet potato, small one, and I put it in my thing, and it liked it. Let me see. Is it a green zone? Let me look at my Loom thing. I had that for lunch. Part of my lunch. You weigh in every day. You want to see your weight. See what did it do for analysis. Let's see. So on the green zone, I had a tomato, a red onion, sweet potatoes, green zone, fat-free sour cream I put on my potato. That was okay. That was green zone. Another tomato and an onion, another onion. The moderate was dry fried egg, no oil. That's in the yellow zone. I'm surprised. In the red zone, I had pistachio nuts, but I'm eating them by the nut. 4 calories per nut. I looked it up, so I'm counting out it by the nut. So I still have 263 calories left in my red zone. I haven't. How
many is it a day?
1,500.
That's not very many calories.
Well, I don't know if it's that every day. Yesterday I went over because I went to Red Lobster and I had shrimp. I thought shrimp's great for you. And normally in the past, No, I tell them don't bring the bread. Don't bring the bread because if they do, I'll eat it. That's the first thing they do. They bring you the bread. I said don't bring that. And I didn't have the breaded shrimp, which I've had in the past. See, every Monday is all you can eat shrimp meal. So if you like shrimp and you're here on a Monday, we can go there all day long. You can go evening, afternoon. And so I got the shrimp scampi, which is in kind of a olive garlic oil, and then the other was skewers on a skewer, like a kebab. And I thought the shrimp scampi there's no rice there or noodles. I thought that'd be fine, but that killed my diet. I had because I guess it's the oil. I never realized how much oil adds. Like if you put a teaspoon of oil on your frying pan when you fry your eggs, that raises the calories. See, I'm learning. It's almost educational. All these little things that I didn't realize were sneaking into my diet that I didn't realize. And I like I have a salad. I like to get this pre-made salad. I thought, man, that's going to be the healthiest thing. And they got to love that because it's all those greens. They're not a fan because of the dressing. You get these Dole makes pre-made salads. And I like the sesame one. And I probably like it because it's got a sweet dressing on it. And they didn't like that. And then I would usually put some cheese on top. I thought cheese should be fine in the diet that I was in before, where you can have anything that doesn't have carbs so much. That's red zone stuff. Feta cheese, you got a little bit of that. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I'm all in. I'm going to try it. We'll see. I like the recording of it. You know how anal I'm about recording my time. So I'm all in. I mean, if it glasses, it's a challenge. Can you drink 8 glasses of water?
Well, and it's almost like calling their bluff in a sense because they're giving you a day. Like on this date.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing to me.
Well, it could change. I mean, it could.
Your weight fluctuates, or at least mine does. Mine is like different every day. And sometimes I can't understand why.
Well, yeah. And it says get used to the fact that your weight will fluctuate, but you still weigh every day. And that'll be a change. Because in the past I have not weighed myself, realizing, I ate too much. I don't want to have to see what the scale is. And they even talk about that, being afraid of stepping on the scale, fear of the scale. They even talk about that, but if it's part of my routine, I mean, I've implemented some routines that are now part of my day. For example, one of Tony Robbins' assistants who puts on the thing in the Facebook group, KK. Beautiful KK. She's stunningly, she looks like a model. She's just gorgeous, but she's great. I mean, her content, not to detract from her professional abilities, she's phenomenal. It's just a big plus. It's easy to look at her. Anyway, she comes on. She's been coming on every once a week on Tuesdays, but now because leading up to this New World, New You, she's coming on every day. And she was talking about, and I'd read about this numerous times about, making your bed in the morning, first thing. It gives you a sense of accomplishment.
Huge.
And I always poo-pooed that. I'm like, come on.
That's legit, 100%.
When KK said it, I listened to her. And so now I can't leave my bedroom unless my I mean, it's not probably military grade where you can bounce a quarter on it, but it's orderly. It's it's
great habit.
Yeah. Now it's part of my thing. When you make a habit out of it, you can't not do it. So
the little things are the big things, man.
Big things. I mean, what do they say? 21 days to make a habit and 9 to break it or something like that. I mean, it doesn't take long to break a habit, but it takes a while to establish it, so.
Don't you, I've stayed there many times and I remember you have a morning, some kind of health drink.
I've stopped taking that because I'm afraid the calories might be, I got to calculate how many calories are in it. I got to, which I can, and I will, but it may be a super high calorie thing, what I didn't even realize.
That's what I was going to ask, if the app thing affected that drink in the morning.
Well, I've got to get the nutritional panels and figure out what the calories were, um, and make sure, because now I got a budget. I got to stay in my budget. So I don't know what my tomorrow's budget will be. I think they might have done. I think not always 1,500. I think it was 1,500 today because I went over yesterday because I was at Red Lobster. I think we'll see. I'll let you know tomorrow what my budget is.
Don't go over. They're going to give you 15 calories tomorrow. You're gonna get to stare at a piece of lettuce for 20 minutes. You'll need a dehumidifier.
Oh,
it's interesting, man. I mean, that they've got it finite like that. It's really cool that they have an app that does that.
Well, even before this, I've already lost 5 pounds. I mean, before I started the Noom app, since the first of the year, I've lost 5 pounds. So, I mean, I'm just trying to watch what I eat and try to run 6 days a week. And, I think the Noom is going to take what I was doing. I mean, I was already driving maybe in first gear, and it's probably going to put me in overdrive. Maybe I was in second gear.
Does it talk about the quantity of meals, like smaller meals more often or anything like that?
Well, you've got in the app, you enter in, you got your breakfast, you got your morning snack, you got your noon meal, you got your afternoon snack, and then you got your evening meal. So there's different places to enter what you ate. But I haven't gotten into, I mean, they're really trying to make it so that it's not prohibitively and doesn't pain you. I can see that already. They're making it goofy. I mean, the hammer may come down a bit. For example, I'm supposed to have steps targets, and I haven't even. I got to get the app on my Apple Watch so that when I go running, it calculates my steps. And if you meet your goal, it'll raise your goal. It starts at only 2,000 steps a day, which is pretty low. 10,000 is a deal. But if you make your 2,000 for, I think, 2 or 3 days, it'll raise it 300. And, so they're all about getting you slowly into the mode. I think I do believe that there's a lot of science and psychology behind what they're doing. I really think it's solid. So we'll see. So far, it's an endless thing because, we're a society that is so fortunate. Have you ever, we've talked about this. If you ever see videos or pictures of the 60s or the 50s, everybody's so thin.
Oh yeah.
We're fat. We're so, the average human being is so much, American is so much fatter than 50 years ago.
Sure.
And it's because of diets. We don't move. We don't work. I've got this stand-up desk over here that I try to use, during the day because I usually sit down during the day. And now I've had this stand-up desk for 3 years and never set it up. Finally, I set it up, new year, new me. So I'm trying to implement some things. And I also have a chair for my desk. Maybe next time you come up, I'll have it put together. It's like a beach ball that you have to sit on. So you kind of, even though you're sitting down, you got to kind of balance.
Use core strength while you're sitting.
Yeah. So I got to get that going. And I have it. It's been sitting. I had it in South Dakota and I never put it together. Ordered it, never took time to put it together. Brought it with me from South Dakota in the van. And I got to put this stuff together. So it's amazing how time can go, years, and things that I want to do. Like my Harley, I've been in Nashville 3 years, and I've never even registered my Harley in Tennessee yet. It's been sitting in the garage for 3 years. Hasn't been a priority. So
I think you probably got there and saw the way that everybody there drives and thought maybe it's a good idea to drive a Harley Davidson around in Nashville.
I've been on the interstate, and you've probably seen it too. These kids on these bikes buzzing in and out of traffic, going like 90 miles an hour. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah. And just Nashville in general, man. It's unlike any other place. The way people drive, it's like nothing I've ever seen.
It is crazy. It is. It's a combination of aggressiveness and passiveness.
Uh-huh.
it's
Yeah, they're either doing 110 or 8 miles an hour.
and I don't know if it's the same people, but like when you get to a light to turn, I don't know if they teach everybody in Nashville that you have to count to 10 before you start moving. But if you're like the fifth car back on a green turning light, you might not make it through.
Yeah. Yeah. Most cities have like a flow, like a traffic flow. Every other city I've ever been in, and I love Nashville. I'm not saying anything bad about it.
Hey, Todd Boone is up here. How you doing?
Booney. But every other city I've driven in has a flow, and it just doesn't have that there.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then if you're on the interstate and you're trying to change lanes, like maybe you want to make an exit in another mile, and I've learned that you better off not putting your blinker on, because if you do put your blinker on, they'll speed up because they don't want to let you in.
Yeah.
So you're better off just doing it by stealth and quickly turning over, and they don't know you're doing it because they won't speed up and try to cut you off. I mean, it's the most insane thing. And the first time I came up to Indiana to see you, I was in Kentucky, and there was I wanted to get into the lane to the right, and there was a car behind me, and I put my blinker on, and I thought, well, I'll just wait for this guy to go by, and he's not coming, and he's not coming. I look in my mirror, he's waiting for me. I'm like,
wow.
This is how it used to be before I moved to Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it is everywhere else. Everywhere but Crashville.
Oh yeah, and then the lack of turning signals. I was here a few months, and I posted that I'm only new to Nashville, I haven't bought a car here yet, so I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that turning signals must be an optional requirement. Not a requirement, must be an option, because most people by imperial evidence don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine thought that was really mean for me to post that. I'm like, it's what I observe.
Well, and it's just the way it's expanding too. You know, you can tell that it was a city that was designed without the intention of there ever being even close to that many people there.
True.
And it's just like, you know, the highway department is just trying to bandage stuff together and make it work.
We've got a comment here. I got to move. I got all these other. This thing is not Nashville. You can walk to see tons of music. Most other cities have to Uber to see more than one or two spots. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to misrepresent. I love Nashville. I love living here. There's a lot going on, and it's a great city to live. So
yeah, walking to see live music is great once they let us do it again.
Absolutely.
And the food, man.
The food, yes, yeah, great food.
That's one of the things I always miss a lot when I come back after my trips down. You know, we have good restaurants for a small town, but Nashville's got it going on.
Yeah, and when I first moved here, I was comparing it to the nearest city, which was close to where I lived in South Dakota, which a 3.5-hour drive was Twin Cities, Minneapolis, which is twice the size of Nashville. And I spent a lot of time in the Twin Cities, but I never lived there. So people who live there may say, we didn't really know about the secret, inside spots. But I would Google, great restaurants, whatever. And to my mind, the Twin Cities have not as many cool spots as Nashville does, and Nashville's half the size.
Yeah.
I'm talking about dining. I'm not talking about music. I'm talking about restaurants.
Sure. And I think it's because it's so diverse.
It is.
A lot of Korean people. There's a lot of Thai. There's a lot of Japanese, Chinese, Kurdish people, Jamaicans, Haitians. There's just all this great ethnic cuisine. A lot of good Indian food, a lot of good Greek food. There's like 20 restaurants literally right by your house that are all amazing.
Yeah. Do you remember the time we went to it was a specific South American country. Which country was that? And Guatemalan or that shopping mall there. And,
Yes,
uh,
it was a Guatemalan restaurant.
yeah, Guatemala. And I went to pay, and I was trying to have a conversation with the woman behind the counter, and it was pretty obvious they didn't speak any English. So I think we're probably one of the few gringos to come in there.
She was trying to fake it.
She was. She was. I think I asked. She thought I was asking if I could do a card or something, and I asked her a question about the cuisine or about the culture, and she gave me a answer that had something to do with you can use your card or we accept MasterCard or whatever it was.
Yeah, you're asking about the food, and she was like, "Yeah, we accept card."
We looked at each other and laughed. That was a goofy, fun time.
Yeah.
The food was good.
Oh yeah, man, food's great. That and the particle board Mexican place.
The food there is amazing. They had this.
They can spend it on the food because they save money building the freaking restaurant with particle board.
They have this Mexican food that's in a hollowed out pineapple, half pineapple. Did you have that when we were there?
Yeah.
It's amazing stuff. Las Portales or something like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And then the one that's in the same shopping center as the Hot Pot, where they walk in. At least when I walk in there, they greet me in Spanish, and then I have to tell them, "Sorry, I no hablo español." Most of those places are legit because most of their clients are native Spanish-speaking people.
Well, that's when you're going to eat good. You know what I mean? When you're going to eat as a white guy, you're going to eat really, really good food when you walk in and they're not speaking English. And you're like the only white dude there. It's like, this is going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So I'm extremely blessed. But
it's kind of counterintuitive, the weight loss app. And then I went on the tangent about all the amazing restaurants down there.
Indy's Chicken is the spot.
That's a fact.
What's that?
Indy's really is the spot. Indy's in Louisville.
Oh, okay, Louisville. Okay.
Best fried chicken in the world.
Well, we'll have to hit that up.
Oh, yeah, man. We'll hit it when you're up.
Okay.
You're coming up in a few days.
I am.
Get that spicy kill.
What's that say on your T-shirt there, buddy?
This is why we can't have nice things. Every parent says that to their children all the time. When I saw this shirt, I had to have it.
Absolutely. Taylor Swift will put that in a song too, I think. Kind of popularized it. Well, we've done our 40 minutes.
Yeah, man. Well, I look forward to seeing you in a couple days.
Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate you. And if you're watching this on a replay, we appreciate you. And I know not all of you can make it here when we're recording. So those of you who watch on a replay, we thanks a lot. And send us a message if you have any topics or ideas for what you would like us to discuss. And we'll close it down.
Peace.
See you next time.